Hey guys, I'm back and I'm back with some big astrology that we have going on today. Mercury stationing retrograde in the sky today, you guys, in an exact conjunction with Venus in the sign of Capricorn. This is going to be another retrograde cycle where we are really reconsidering and reprioritizing and reevaluating our commitments, our relationships, our goals, the projects, and what we're working on right now, what we're putting our focus and concentration, what we're really putting our energy into. A lot of revisions going on over this next couple weeks, you guys, and we're going to talk about that in this Mercury retrograde report today. We also have a first quarter square moon going on today. Today's a very active day. The moon is in Aries. We've got this cardinal square playing out between the sun and the moon. We probably feeling a little bit of a fire lit up underneath us to do something, to say something, to act some way, to go somewhere, maybe to fight someone as well with this Jupiter and Aries energy that we have playing out. The moon will also form a conjunction to Jupiter today as well. So we're gonna have some big feelings, some big emotions kind of lighting us up today too. So without further ado, you guys, let's get into this Mercury retrograde report for the day. Let's talk about what we have playing out in the context of Mercury stationing in the sky and what we may be able to expect as we go through our experience today. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Thursday, December 29th, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the day. If you guys stick with me till the end of the report, we're also going to be looking at a collective tarot reading for the day as well, because I really like to tap the field from more than one symbolic, energetic modality just to give us a more well-rounded overview of what is playing out energetically on any given day. So we're going to be doing that as well. But first, I just want to say, and we're going to start with the astrology, but oh my gosh, you guys, I am so glad to be back. That was the longest break from the channel I've taken since I started this channel 2 years ago almost now. And to be completely honest with you, I got super sick and my kids were sick and it was Christmas and we all collectively just needed to not do anything for a couple of days. So we did that, but I'm feeling much better. It was actually a much needed break, and I'm very much re-inspired and excited to get going again with our dailies, with our astrology, with coming up. Also, we're going to be talking about 2023 itself in terms of the general vibes of this year that I feel like are presenting. And yeah, so we're going to do that coming up soon too, sort of look at our upcoming year in review that hasn't happened yet. We'll do that. But for today, we are having Mercury retrograde. So this is a pretty significant energy that we got going on as well. And like I said, it's not just a Mercury retrograde, it's a Mercury retrograde in exact conjunction with Venus. It's interesting because this is like a dynamic that's sort of been ongoing since like the fall. There was a lot of like Mercury Venus mutual reception that went on over like the Virgo and the Libra cycle. Mercury and Venus traveled together for a while this year. There were I believe there was another Mercury retrograde where Mercury stationed and Venus was right there or something along those lines. They like have changed signs together. Mercury and Venus have been sort of hand in hand throughout the past couple of months, and now here we have them again the day that Mercury stations retrograde in an exact conjunction, 25 degrees of Capricorn. It's also interesting, we're going to talk about the Sabian symbol of that specific degree, 25 Capricorn, an oriental rug dealer in a store filled with precious oriental rugs. So the degree where this is taking place is even talking about like a store of value, okay, or something of like precious and valuable nature that is contained within something, or that is the focus. And it's interesting, right? Because we're talking about a Mercury retrograde in the sign of Capricorn, which is this earth-based sign, very much about value and cultivating success and cultivating rewards and focus and concentration and hard work and effort and self-control and self-discipline, working towards some type of goal, right? Creating some type of value. So this is already inherent in a Mercury retrograde that's happening in Capricorn. There's going to be some type of mental revision that goes on, mental reframing, mental restructuring, these Capricorn Saturn keywords in association with the mercurial mental realms and this retrograde energy that causes us to like really go back and redo things in one form or another. So, without the Venus element there, we're already talking about a retrograde, a Mercury retrograde cycle that is really likely to have us, reprioritizing or reevaluating or just considering our goals or what we want to work towards, or also our commitments. Capricorn is also a sign about commitments, a sign about responsibility, duty, obligation. So these type of things, and also it also rules career, and because of the earth-based nature of it, has a lot to do with financial institutions and bigger economic stuff like that, but it also can rule our public reputation and financial aspects of things as a result of the career oriented nature of Saturn, Capricorn, material, manifest, structure, form, reality, grounded. Okay, so we're already talking about Mercury retrograde, like some type of revision or reconsideration or reevaluating in terms of our goals, our plans, our commitments, what we want to work towards generally, what we want to structure, what we want to form, the foundations that we're laying at this point in time. And it's kind of extra relevant right now too, because, if you've been following my past couple videos and this energy that we have coming in now with Jupiter in the sign of Aries, this is really sort of going to be, if it hasn't already, it's going to be really sort of lighting a fire under us over the course of the rest of this winter and into the spring, where we are needing to actively pursue some type of, or create, or go in a new direction, or initiate something that is inspired by some type of personal passion or personal drive or personal truth, or something that we are fighting for that is being motivated or inspired by these themes as well, with Jupiter in the sign of Aries. This is us really just having this greater energy and greater confidence and assertiveness and courage and strength, and all of these Aries Martian type qualities sort of expanded with this Jupiter energy. And Jupiter also brings blessings and good fortune and good luck, and so we're really being supported in the risks that we're taking and the endeavors and what we're trying to create and trying to initiate for ourselves at this point in time. And considering that we're in Capricorn season as well, which is a cardinal phase of the year, an action-oriented phase about forming, structuring, laying foundations, duty, responsibility, our goals, what we're working towards. This is a lot of inspiration towards our personal goals. Now, here we are at this Mercury retrograde phase, and we have Mercury in Capricorn going to be backing out of an earth sign, backing back into Sagittarius, backing into a fire sign. So this fire, this passion, which is ruled by Jupiter, right, who's in the sign of Aries, who is igniting this fire that is causing us to move forward towards manifesting these goals. Or also, it's this process of self-improvement that this period of time is really indicating and energizing and driving us towards as well. But this retrograde process, right, because Mercury is starting in this earth sign, backing into Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter, which is all involved in this energy. We need to make revisions to the plans. We need to make revisions to the goals. We need to reevaluate the blueprints. We need to, make sure that we are seeing things clearly. We need to gain new information. We need to expand our viewpoint, Mercury backing back into Sagittarius. And this is going to sort of solidify our ability to lay these foundations or initiate this action or go in this new direction in a way that is actually going to be much more stable, successful, and grounded into a potential for physical rewards and manifestation going into the future. So this is actually a very important Mercury retrograde process, because it's actually setting us up for success in terms of the way that we are restructuring our goals and even our mental framework about the way that we want to act going forward. Again, I feel like this, and I named my Capricorn new moon video. If you guys didn't see it, you should watch that. Also, self-improvement, right? I feel like this is definitely an energy that is gearing us towards self-improvement, and this Mercury retrograde process is really playing into that as well, in terms of helping us to, like I said, restructure our mental framework in a way that is much more conducive to the successful activation and action that this Jupiter and Aries energy wants to bring us throughout the rest of the course of, well, not the rest of the course of 2023, but through the spring. And when Mars actually goes direct and Mercury goes direct, January, especially as we get more towards the end of January, is going to be quite a bang bang month, because Mars will be going direct in Gemini, which is Mercury's sign. Mercury will also be going direct. And when both of these planets go direct, we're gonna have it, like we're gonna have, like, at least we better have our plans, like we better have everything done, our ideas, like know what we're doing, because that's sort of gonna be a kind of a very forceful like push kind of forward in a forward direction. There's gonna be a lot of just kinetic energy, I think, like energy in motion, you know what I mean? That's sort of just hitting us, and we're gonna have to like start acting, making things happen, and making choices and making decisions, and we'll be much more prepared because of this Mercury retrograde process that we're going through right now. But now, like I said, we need to bring the Venus element into it as well, because this is adding this emphasis on relationships, on partnerships, on commitments. This is also, money and finances and contracts and agreements as well. Anything that is not fair in terms of like contracts that we're setting up, or deals that we've made, or negotiations, there could be a reworking of things along those lines coming up over this next couple of weeks that is actually like making things more solid, and is going to be more fair, and actually like contribute to the opportunity for like success and whatever we're working towards, or whatever we're working within or with over this next couple of weeks. But Venus coming in here, it's just going to put this highlight on relationship commitments. We might feel, like more geared towards the commitment side of things because of all this Capricorn energy going on as well. But it's going to have us, or maybe we recently started getting into some type of commitment with all of this like cardinal energy and this Jupiter energy in Aries coming through, and something that we acted on. But this is reevaluating, like I said, renegotiating, reprioritizing values, goals, responsibilities, and commitments. And because of the Mercury Venus alignment, I mean, what are we talking about here? Mercury's our mind, right? And Venus is what? Venus is our heart. This is a mental and like a heart-based alignment, heart-based fusion that is like an integral part of this backtracking that we're doing, or of this reevaluating. It's like, I need to redo this in a way that feels more in alignment with the truth of my heart, or my true values, or like what I really want. Okay, all of these Venus themes. So it's about redoing things in a way that feels like it's in a stronger alignment with these Venus qualities, with what makes us comfortable, with what we truly want and desire, with what's fair. Also, Venus ruling the 7th house and Libra, it's balance, it's harmony, it's justice. So it's like anything that hasn't been sitting right with us, essentially, about the way that things have been going, the way that they've been coming together. Like, this is the period of time where there are going to be just necessary adjustments, revisions to whatever it is, so that they're just a better authentic reflection of what we need to feel happy and like peaceful about the situations going forward. This is also a sign of Capricorn. This is about maturity, right? This is about like good judgment as well. There's definitely an element of judgment that is playing out throughout the course of this retrograde period. We're really like, it's like we're weighing things, okay? It's like we're really trying to decide based on all of these changes that have gone on within us and everything that we've experienced, and what has brought us to where we're at now. Like, what do I want to continue? What do I want to take with me in this new direction, in alignment with this new identity and paradigm and reality that I find myself in right now? And what needs to stay, like what is not going to contribute to my growth going forward, like what is going to have me repeating the same cycles like from the past that I am not interested in anymore. These are the type of things that we're likely to find ourselves asking ourselves as we're heading throughout this period of time. And again, also this element of judgment, like maybe some really good judgment coming to us, or seeing things from a higher perspective or seeing things from a more elevated viewpoint that does something to help us in a decision making process as well. There's major decisions. I feel like come the end of January, we're going to be making some really big decisions. And this next couple of weeks, while Mercury is retrograde and we still have Mars retrograde, is when things from the past are likely to be presenting themselves, or we may find ourselves like re-immersed in various past situations that somehow are opening our eyes to something, or are, we're seeing the lights, or we're hearing the trumpets, or we're seeing things just from a radically perhaps different perspective than we may have in the past, based on maybe a piece of information that we gain or something that we learn, something. But it's going to be a very active mental period of time as well, even though we're talking about a Mercury retrograde, even though we're talking about this happening in the sign of Capricorn, because we're talking also about Jupiter in Aries right now, Mars in the sign of Gemini, ruled by Mercury, also retrograde. So we have Mars retrograde in Gemini, and now we're also having Mercury retrograde while we have Jupiter in the sign that is ruled by Mars. So there's some type of big mind-blowing information as well. Like, we could really get some mind-blowing information about the past that causes us to change our mind about something, that radically changes, like, again, like our judgment in some way, or that just like really helps us to make some type of big decision that maybe we haven't been able to make because we haven't been seeing things in a while, or to go in a different direction, or to take some type of action that we hadn't been able to take because we had been looking at things from perhaps a distorted viewpoint, or we've been lacking some information, or a million different reasons. But that really, like, I do think that there's likely to be some type of big information. And I say this because we're talking about Jupiter in the sign of Aries, ruled by Mars. Well, Mars is retrograding in Gemini, right? Which has been a theme. Mars retrograding in Gemini, like, this has been bringing up information from the past, okay? But now that we have Jupiter in the sign of Aries, just feeding into that, like, it's going to accelerate. There's going to be more and more of it, and it's going to be bigger and bigger. And then when we add the ruler of Mars, Mercury, retrograde too, in the sign of Capricorn, this is also related to bosses, authority, institutions, financial institutions, like I said, governmental bodies, rulership and elite classes, regulators, rule makers, all this type of stuff, or rules and regulations generally. A lot of these Capricorn themes, because Mercury ultimately is ruling both Jupiter and Mars at this point in time in the sign of Capricorn. We've got Pluto in Capricorn right now too, you guys. There just a lot of stuff about like establishment or established orders of power and stuff like that on a more macrocosm level could continue in even bigger ways than we've seen already. Information from the past about stuff could continue to spill out in a way, again, that changes our judgment about something, or change of judgment about something, or causes us to see things sort of in a radically new way that is kind of inspiring people, again, to make a different choice, or to take some type of new action, or initiate something, or move forward with something in some type of way. I don't know, guys, but this is just what this to me looks like. Also, like I said, renegotiating deals and agreements. I bet there's a lot of this type of stuff that is going on over this next couple of weeks. It's like it's a major overhaul. This Mercury and Mars simultaneous retrograde energy while we have Jupiter in the sign of Aries ruled by Mars, a chance to recreate ourselves as well. Like, this is kind of like wipe the slate clean energy as well. Like, this is a really, really, really good period of time to tie up any loose ends that have been holding us back, to like really take care of anything that is like standing in our way of like letting go of something, or moving in a new direction, or just sort of just moving on. Like, this is a really good time to detach ourselves from past situations that are not conducive to our growth going forward, and as a simultaneous part of that process, to really begin this process of recreating ourselves from energy that is trying to like evolve us. Again, like, the self-improvement vibes are so supported in this energy. This is an excellent New Year's resolutions. are so like, this is such a good time of year, not now that we have Mercury retrograde as much, more so around the new moon and building up to Mercury retrograde. But any type of self-improvement like thing that you have going on right now that you're working towards, that is supported by universe, and that is what universe wants us all to be doing right now, is working on ourselves in various ways, capacities, forms, aspects of our lives, or just doing the whole overhaul. Like if you've needed to just really sort of wipe the slate clean and start over in some type of way, like this is the year. I'm telling you, this is the 2023, this is the year to do it. It's going to be a big year, you guys. And I'm really looking forward to talking about sort of like the overall and what we have coming up at us, and really getting into this year as it's unfolding. But and this is a year where literally, like, depending on our mindset, depending on our beliefs, depending on what we perceive as a potential and what we perceive as a possibility, like it really is. It could be a year of some really like unlimited potential, unlimited possibilities, tremendous levels of self-empowerment. But it's going to be really all based on like our own perception, our mental programming, and what we believe is truly possible for ourselves. But that being said, this is this month of January, again, as we get towards the end of this month, and I feel like we should have reverence sort of for this particular retrograde process. Normally I'm like, Mercury retrograde, like, especially like I'm a Gemini ascendant, Mercury dominant person, and I don't typically appreciate Mercury retrograde all that much, but I feel like this Mercury retrograde actually deserves a level of sort of like respect and appreciation and reverence. And also because it's the Capricorn Mercury retrograde, and Saturn really appreciates when we do have respect and reverence and appreciation for things, even if they're more difficult things. So I feel like we should try to have a little bit more respect for this Mercury retrograde process, because again, I do feel like it's actually setting us up for success. Of course, it's Mercury retrograde, so communications and technologies, don't make big purchases, you guys. With Venus conjunct Mercury, also do not make big purchases this Mercury retrograde. You just wait a little bit, because there's a likelihood that it just won't be exactly as you want it to be, or it won't work as you want it to work, and it's just better not to do those type of things. And so expect all the regular Mercury retrograde issues to go on. But what I appreciate about this Mercury retrograde is, like I said, I feel like what we're going back through, like what we're reevaluating, what we're reprioritizing and recommitting ourselves to, is really going to set us up for success, and like help to make us better, help us in this process of self-improvement as we go throughout this period of time. So it's a good time to slow down. It's a good time to be more in hermit mode. Again, it's a good time to be going back through things with a fine-tooth comb. It's a good time to be really like introspective and self-analytical, and, really, again, like getting to the truth of our heart, and really getting clear with ourselves about what we want, what we value, what we prioritize, what we feel comfortable committing ourselves to, what is fair, what is just, what is balanced, what is harmonized, what is making us feel peaceful, what is pulling us out of a state of peace, and what can I do to fix whatever's pulling me out of a state of peace, so that it's like resting well with me internally in terms of whatever decisions I need to make, or whatever plans I've got going on, or whatever commitments or opportunities are presenting themselves, or whatever it needs to. And that's what we're going to decide. We're going to decide on the things that are feeling right to us on that more internalized level, because we have been through so much over this past couple of years, over this past 2022, that it's really put us in a position where we've probably gotten to know ourselves a bit better than maybe we ever have in our lives. And that is also having some big changes on the way that we're just interacting with our own reality, and the people in our reality, and therefore also what we're attracting. So we're really going to be making some big decisions come the end of January, but this Mercury retrograde right now is giving us a very just reflective period to get in alignment with what we really want, and to make some changes to, you know, our attitudes and our behaviors as well, and our mindsets, really restructure our mind in some ways that are, you know, making sure that what we're working towards, what we're forming, what we're creating, what our goals are truly in alignment with that sense of inner peace, right? With Venus and the conjunction to Mercury, so that there's a mental and a heart-based alignment, cohesion going on that is a solid foundation, Capricorn, for these goals, these forms, these structures, what we're building, what we're working towards, what we are manifesting. Capricorn, I feel like Capricorn in a lot of ways, I feel like Capricorn energy is very strong manifestation energy. It's Saturn, structure, form, grounded, earth-based energy that we have with Capricorn Saturn. So there's that. Now, again, the other dimension of things that we have playing out today, of course, this whole Mercury retrograde energy, it's more affecting us just over this next couple of weeks generally, as opposed to, you know, specifically today. You may really be feeling it today. There may be, you know, travel issues, or people might be confused. Another thing, you know, misinterpretation, miscommunication with Jupiter in the sign of Aries. Make sure that you're not getting into needless fights and disputes and arguments and debates just because you need to blow off some steam, okay? Like, that could really be something that we're seeing, and especially that's sort of a dimension of the energy as it's coming in today as well, because we do have this Aries moon playing out, the moon in Aries conjuncting Jupiter in Aries for the first time since Jupiter re-entered the sign of Aries. So this is going to be a very like lit day. People are likely to be really feeling quite fired up, quite like motivated, quite assertive, courageous, brave, wanting to take some action, move ahead, much more energized, optimistic, sort of like lighthearted as well. You know, it's a jovial energy with the moon in the conjunction to Jupiter. This is a positive vibe. This is definitely like feeling optimistic and feeling good about stuff. And we even have the sun today at 8 degrees of Capricorn. That Sabian symbol is birds in the house singing happily. So, you know, people are likely to be having some pretty merry conversations going on, and it's probably a pretty like positive attitude that people are, you know, presenting with for the most part generally today. However, with Mercury going retrograde and Mars in Gemini retrograde and the moon in the conjunction with Jupiter today in the sign of Aries, like, we do want, again, like I said, to watch out for sort of just like picking fights with people because maybe we want to blow off some steam, you know what I mean? Like, not, you know, because we really want to make something of it, but just to like get something off of our chest or something like that as well. But people are likely to have some big feelings or some big emotions going on today. And with it being in the sign of Aries, like, there's no hold back. There's no caution. There's no like, you know, maybe I shouldn't. There's only like full speed ahead. So people are really likely, and then we're talking about Mars and sign of Gemini conversations, talking about, people are likely to be very actively speaking about and acting on and displaying their emotions today in some pretty big ways. But again, like, it's most likely going to be along the positive side of things. Like, people could be just like overflowing with joy or overflowing with hope, or got some really good news. Like, that's the way that this could actually play out with it being Jupiter and this Mercury Mars energy. It could be some really good news that we have going on too, that is making us feel like really inspired and wanting to take some type of action. But likely to be a very active day, and again, like, some big feelings, lots of energy. It's a very highly energized day. And I mean, there's a lot of reasons for this. First of all, the moon in Aries generally, this is that first fire sign. This is always a day where we're feeling more action oriented and like more motivated just because of the nature of Aries itself. But then we're also talking about the first quarter square of the moon that we have going on today. And this is happening in cardinal signs. The moon in early degrees of Aries is going to be squaring the sun at 8 degrees of Capricorn. So there's a cardinal square going on today. And the first quarter square, this is an action oriented phase of the month as well. This is like when the seed is like breaking through the soil, you know what I mean? We may come up against a little bit of resistance today here and there. First quarter square has the tendency to do that. It can bring up some conflict or some friction or some tension or something like that, but it's going to be because it's trying to like make something happen, to cause some type of an action to be initiated or something like that. So we've got the Aries vibe with the emotions already talking about like wanting to do something, and then this square that is causing us to want to like take some action or get something done as well. And then the conjunction to Jupiter, which is just really expanding this energy. And then we're talking about being in a Capricorn cycle, which is already this action-oriented phase that was in a square to Jupiter. There's already sort of like really wanting us to break through something that is holding us back from moving in a new direction towards manifesting our goals or improving ourselves in some type of a way. So all of these themes of this Capricorn cycle sort of coming up today as well, with this Aries moon making the first core square and coming in the conjunction with Jupiter. So big feeling day, you guys. Information, communications, or past situations could be lighting this fire within us today as well. With the Mercury retrograde, we could be hearing something from the past, some news, somebody from the past coming back. That's another thing, you know, that happens with Mercury retrograde. A lot of past people like to just randomly manifest, show back up in our lives because there's something that needs to be resolved somehow. And with Venus there, again, that is very, very likely. But information, communication, conversation, messages, media, news, something we're learning, something we're hearing, something to do with siblings perhaps as well. This is also like short distance travel, going back and forth. Traffic could be, people might be a little bit heated in traffic today. You might want to kind of watch out for that, try to slow down a little bit. But you know, other than that, I feel like today is a pretty good day. Probably some pretty positive vibes, like I said, going on with the moon coming into the conjunction with Jupiter. So that's really what I have to say today, guys, for our astrology. So glad to be back. I would so much rather be doing this than being like we were last week. So I'm feeling good about things today too. And that's what we got. So we are looking at a very active January that's coming up, especially as we get towards the end of the month and this Mercury retrograde period. We need to be, you know, sort of using it to actually help us out and to assist us in our process of growth and just making sure that everything is moving in the direction that we want it to, in the way that we want it to, and we feel comfortable and we feel good with it and we feel like everything's balanced at this point in time. So that being said, let's now get into the tarot message of the day, you guys. And this tarot message, I feel like, is sort of in reference to our Mercury retrograde process generally. And I feel like this message is really talking about, you know, what is going to be happening throughout the course of this period of time while we do have Mercury retrograde. Got a couple of cards coming out and it's interesting. Okay. So the first card that we had coming out, we have the Emperor in reverse. Okay. And I'm going to show you guys all the cards and then I'm going to talk to you about my interpretation of the cards. We're just going to do it that way today. And then we had the Four of Cups in reverse, and we had the Four of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, so this is on like one side. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune, okay? So this is telling me that we are starting one way, we are starting sort of in one place and with one mindset and one attitude, and then something is happening that is like radically shifting things somehow, okay? And then the next cards that we had coming out were the Three of Swords and then the Ten of Cups, okay? And then on the back of the deck, we had the Judgment card. So we're talking about some major arcana here. First of all, we've got the Emperor in reverse to start the reading, the first card that came out. So this is, interestingly enough, you know, this is the card, the Emperor is the card that represents Aries. Jupiter in the sign of Aries right now. This is very much Emperor vibes with Jupiter and Aries. But we have the Emperor in reverse. So this could actually be talking about, again, like not like our plans being a bit off, what we're working on or our viewpoint or what we need, the energy that we need in order to really sort of like be managing the proper course or the proper direction of the foundations and of this new direction that we're going in right now. Being a bit like paused or a bit held back. Okay. So I feel like this is actually saying that there may not be initially the forward progress maybe that we were hoping to experience. But then we are also talking about a Wheel of Fortune moment, the tables turning, the winds sort of switching in our favor, the tides turning. And then we're talking about a judgment as well. And like I was saying earlier, like I feel like there's a definite element of, you know, some type of information or some type of judgment, a moment, like some type of wake up call, or like hearing the trumpets, like I said, seeing the light somehow throughout this period of time that is like really changing things for us, okay? And then in terms of the minor arcana, as we have them playing out, we have these two fours here, and fours both represent stability and balance, okay? And they're coming out in the context of this Emperor in reverse as well. However, the Four of Pentacles in reverse, this is actually coming to a point or coming to a place where we're ready to like surrender something, or surrender to something, or to let go of something, or we're no longer holding back in some type of a way. And then the Four of Cups in reverse, this is a card of coming out of a state of apathy, or finally seeing like some type of opportunity that we've been neglecting or that we've been missing. And when I look at the context of these cards together, especially all of these reversals to start the reading, I do feel like this is talking about, you know, this Mercury retrograde process is bringing us the missing information, or is bringing us the missing opportunity or the missing perspective. And it's allowing us to like change something up, to like let go of something, or to surrender something that perhaps we've been really holding tightly onto, and that had actually been keeping us out of a state of self-empowerment, or from being able to like set a plan in motion that is going to unfold successfully, that is going to put us in that place of power. So I feel like, you know, even to start this process, we are talking about this Emperor energy and this Jupiter and Aries energy, but it's in the context of some type of like an epiphany sort of, which is being represented by this Judgment energy as well. And whatever it is that we are sort of opening our eyes to, or that we are awakening to, or that we are seeing in a different light, or that we're seeing from a different perspective, it's having a massive shift, okay? It's causing, again, like the tables to turn in some type of a way, or the direction of things to change. And what that direction, you know, what it's changing from, it's like, it's taking us from a place of, it's healing, okay? Like this is a process of alchemization is what I'm really trying to say. This Mercury retrograde, as I'm seeing it, energetically represented in terms of the symbolism of these cards as they're coming out, is this, this process of alchemization that is taking us from a state of being disempowered because of something that we were like holding onto, and therefore pushing away or neglecting to see like this important element, or this judgment, or this information, or, you know, this epiphany, or whatever it might be. We were unable to see that because of what we had been holding on to in the past, and it had actually been keeping us out of our place of self-empowerment that enables us to go and like do this Jupiter and Aries thing, to be this pioneer and to initiate this new path for ourselves. But something about whatever this Mercury retrograde energy is bringing us, this new perspective or this judgment or something, it's having this like really profound, in some type of way, like alchemical effect inside of us that is helping us to transmute our states of victimhood and our states of wounding to some much, much more elevated, like vibrational states that are truly in alignment with a greater sense of self-mastery, and also an ability to receive like that which in this 222 year, as we're closing it out, is the vibrational match for what can bring us a sense of fulfillment internally. So I hope this isn't sounding like too incoherent. I'm like really trying to explain this in the best way that I can right now, but something about, you know, some type of mental shift or wake up call, or seeing things from a new direction, message we receive going on that is like bringing us back to life in some way, and that is helping us to transmute these states of, you know, pain or victimhood or wounding that we may have experienced into some much higher vibrational states, this Ten of Cups energy. And again, it's associated with this Wheel of Fortune, and helping us to come to a point where we are like sitting back on our throne and in power, and beginning to move forward in this direction, creating consciously what is in our heart at this point in time, right? Mercury and Venus together, the 10 of Cups. Like, it's trying to help us make our dreams come true. That's what this says. That's what this says to me. That's what I'm going with. This Mercury retrograde period is trying to help us make our dreams come true through this process of healing, through a process of awakening in one way or another. And it's also interesting along these lines. This is a very Chiron oriented sequence of cards right here. This 3 of Swords in the context of this 10 of Cups, because I mean, Chiron, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, the Chiron point, value, gold, the gold of the soul, you know, that is the true value. That is the gold of the soul. When we go through this hero's journey and we are able to transmute these states of victimhood into states of self-mastery, and this ability to, you know, ultimately consciously co-create with God and universe based on whatever we're projecting into our own future in a more conscious instead of an unconscious way that is being driven by our traumas and our states of victimhood. Like, this is that process. This is the hero's journey. And we also have Jupiter, the Emperor energy right now in the sign of Aries, going to be coming into conjunction with Chiron this year as well. And I do feel like this is going to be a very personally healing, again, very personally healing and very transformative year. This honestly could be sort of like, I feel like this is like kind of the vibe all year as well. Some type of judgment, something that we awaken to, causes this alchemical process within us in this really big way that really like realigns our vibration and takes us out of the more negative octaves and into the more positive octaves, which can really have a very, very life-changing Wheel of Fortune effect and bring us back into a place of massively more self-empowered energy. So that's that, you guys. That's the tarot. That's all I'm going to say about it, but interesting message that we had coming out. Let's grab a synchronicity card now. God, Spirit, Universe. What is one more bit of advice that we can use as we are going through this Mercury retrograde process or this day today to help manage ourselves in the context of this other energy that we have going on? And it says, turn off the world. Folly is joy to him destitute of wisdom, Proverbs 15:21. And, you know, like I said, this Mercury retrograde period, you know, self-analysis, introspection, hermit mode, being a little bit more isolated, a little bit more detached, really getting in alignment with the Capricorn vibe, like that is going to benefit us as we're going through this Mercury retrograde period. And really, it's like we're cutting off the excess, you know what I mean? It's like we're getting to the necessary core truths of what we want and what we want our future to look like, and that's what we're going to go with. Anyways, it says, looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for joy in externals, finding joy in lurid drama, hate-filled music, and other synthetic entertainment, you will find joy within yourself. Turn off the noise and listen to the voice within. Search for your wisdom within. Be happy with yourself inside and you will find joy. So there it is, you guys. This Mercury retrograde period, again, like it is about going inside, right? And like I said, looking for the joy within, looking for what it is that we really like, that is really in alignment with our heart. How do we mental heart-based alignment, Mercury, Venus for this retrograde? And that is our key to success moving forward come the end of January when we have Mercury and Mars both go direct and the slingshot lets us go and shoots us forward. So that's what I got to say today, you guys. A message from the stars, a message from the cards. I hope you guys liked it. I hope I was able to provide something for you that can give you just a little bit of whatever you may be needing to help understand this Mercury retrograde energy better, or generally. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think they would like this kind of content, be interested in this type of astrology as well. Leave me comments. I love your comments. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate knowing how these energies are affecting you guys as well. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and other social media stuff in my description box below if you're interested or into any of that. And come back with me tomorrow, you guys. We will have another video to close out our month of December, and then after that we will have our video on looking forward at the year 2023. So that's the plan. That's the agenda. I'll be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. And I will see you then, guys. Have a beautiful day. And until tomorrow, bye.